I know you're working on the Discord stuff, but I've been hearing this stuff. I think obviously you told me earlier this week. A few other people have talked about it, which is like this Wayfair
Yep.
thing.
Yeah, the
What
Wayfair.
is it? What is that about?
Supposedly it's this website that kind of sells like furniture and things like that. And
Okay.
supposedly they're like doing sex trafficking or human trafficking. And their evidence is
Some sort of like operation.
yeah, some type of operation. So their evidence is basically wait, their evidence is basically just so there's like a couple, let's say, items, right? So there's like, for an example, I'm just gonna say like one item, right? One item costs like 19.99, right? Which is like a pillow, right? And it's this like certain model, and then there's this other item that is the exact same model, but it has a price up to like $10,000. It's the exact same model, but like a different name with a different price tag, and with like and with
Yeah.
like people who are quote unquote missing, like in front of the title, were like the where like the price, like the price is like $10,000, and like in front of like the title of the product, there's like missing people's names or names of missing people.
Like their first names.
Yeah,
Oh.
so it's kind
Oh.
of, yeah, it's kind of crazy. And like another fishy thing that I saw in the website is that like, so I was on Reddit, right? And so someone showed an image of like, do you know like the pedophile symbols? Do you know about those? The pedophile symbols? This the pedophile symbol?
No clue. What is that?
So these pedophile symbols are like, I don't even know. They're just like symbols that pedophiles use to indicate what they like. So let's say they like, like little boys, right? So they have this symbol for like a little boy lover or like a boy lover, and like they're just like random symbols. They're not random symbols, but you know what I mean. Like they're just symbols that indicate what they like, what they're into. It's really sus.
Have these symbols been recurring?
What?
Symbols been recurring, and you know what I mean, like recurring in a way where it's definitely involved with sex trafficking.
Yeah, yeah. Like pedophiles use like let me just link you something, okay? Right? I'm
Sure,
just gonna link you
sure.
something. I mean, like, okay, like the podcast basically began. I don't really care. We're just gonna do this. Let's see, boy lover or pedophile. Let's see. Let me search pedophile symbols. Pedophile symbols.
Symbols.
And they're like declassified from like the FBI.
Oh, so they're straight up from authority.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because like there were like two images where like there was like these two pedophile symbols in the thing, but I also heard that it might be false. Like it might not be an actual thing where like sex trafficking is occurring.
Okay.
So yeah, there's one thing. Like one evidence that points that it's fake is that there's this girl who's reported as missing, but and she came out with a video and saying she was like mad and everything, saying that like why is she involved in this and things like that. And yeah, I think, yeah, she's just mad that she was like involved in this when she wasn't.
She American?
Yeah, an American. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it sounds like to rehash the story, he was
and
incorrectly
incorrectly like reported or
stated to be
yeah.
like to be kidnapped. She came out and she said, "No, that's not even true. I'm just doing me."
Yeah, yeah. She was just yeah, she was just mad about the whole entire thing because she got involved into that fiasco, and turns out it was not true. Or yeah, like to this day no one really knows if it's true or not. But she reported.
How long ago was this story?
This story has been going on for like a week now.
Oh man, so that's why there's been such talk about this. That's
Yeah,
pretty recent. I
yeah,
had
it
no
was
idea.
super recent. It was like last week. That's why I brought it up to you because it was trending
Uh,
like on Twitter and everywhere.
I mean, that's what I heard. It was like number one or number two or something on Twitter.
Yeah, it was trending everywhere. It was crazy.
So who are some of like the higher ups or celebrities, more well-known people that are associated with like this organization or this like entire movement?
Okay, it wasn't like a celebrity or anything like that, but like the story first started like in Reddit. So someone like it's like in the conspiracy Reddit like in the conspiracy subreddit. So let me check here. It's made by this guy named Princess Peach 1987, I believe. Reddit, what the? Yeah, Reddit conspiracy.
What a reference.
I know, dude.
So funny, man. What if this guy's a competitive Smash player?
I know, right? What if? Yeah, it was made by this guy named Princess Peach. Yeah, it seems like it's not really becoming relevant anymore. Like no one's really talking about it. But yeah, but it was this person
For
named
all we know,
Princess Peach.
it could be a girl too that brought it up. You know.
It could be that too, yeah. But yeah, but that story, like that whole entire story was just crazy. And like at first I did
Dude,
believe it was like 100% real, but then like I'm questioning
yeah.
whether if it's not or if it is.
So what are some other things that are affiliated or associated with this thing that's been happening?
What do you mean? Are you saying like who else is talking about this?
I mean, who else is talking about this? What else has been going on? You obviously brought up the furniture business, having a little bit more than questionable pricing for like similar models,
Yeah.
similar items that they have.
Mm,
What other information is there to, you know what I mean, to bring this case to such heights?
I'm not really sure. It was just more so like a conspiracy theory about I don't know like I don't know just like I guess the information I just gave you about the missing people and how like those missing people were in the titles for some reason and another thing that was weird is that like the people that were missing were mostly from Ohio, which is like some of the
Ohio.
yeah, like a lot of them were from Ohio, and it was weird. Like, why is it specifically from Ohio? And like they had like I
How
guess
many?
like uncommon-ish names too, and like they were in front of the title, as I said earlier. So yeah, and like another person that's speaking out about it is like this porn star. I forgot who it was, but a porn star was talking about it too. Yeah.
It, it sounds like it's been on a lot of people's radar, and like a lot of people that like won't necessarily be affiliated with each other too.
Yeah, it was like yeah, everyone was talking about it.
Um,
Everyone was. Wayfairgate. That's what it was called.
uh,
Wayfairgate.
again, I'm completely elementary. That's why I'm genuinely curious on like what's going on. I know this has been a talk for the past few days. I just had not looked into it at all. But I also thought that it would be great to bring it on the podcast just so that anyone that has information or like they can shed more light.
Yeah, the whole thing is
And
crazy.
if yeah, on the opposite side of the spectrum too, I feel like there could be a lot of viewers and listeners um, tuning into this podcast that are like, "What is that? What are they talking about?"
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
wanted to genuinely create some interest and just have more awareness.
Mm,
This is conspiracy right now, so I'm not exactly sure how to take it. It sounds like it's just information. It doesn't seem like there's been anything that has there's been like empirical evidence to support it further. But I think raising at least awareness on it is good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Another person that was talking about it. I mean, the porn star I was talking about that was referring to this was also Jenna Jameson. If you know who she is.
I believe she's one of like the princesses or like classic porn stars, right?
Princesses? I'm not really sure. I don't know.
Not a princess, but like you know what I mean, like one of the more well-known
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
porn celebrities out there. Because well the thing is it's interesting because I'm a big MMA fan. So if you know Tito Ortiz,
Yeah,
they
the name is
I
pretty.
think they were an item at one time.
Really? What?
Yeah, yeah.
Tito Ortiz. Super
Ortiz,
fine.
he fought in light heavyweight. He was, I believe, he was light heavyweight champ twice in the UFC.
Damn.
Maybe
Wait,
once, maybe twice. But
wait,
he had a great rivalry with another light heavyweight goat, rather not goat, but one of the light heavyweight classics in Chuck Liddell,
wait.
Iceman.
Is he still active? Cause he sounds really familiar.
Uh, I think he might still be active. He's super old now, though. He's like
Really?
definitely later in his 40s. Interestingly enough, he's still fighting. I mean, MMA is such a crazy sport,
Yeah.
and like I think the craziest thing about MMA is that when you bring in all the different art forms, wrestling, taekwondo, Muay Thai, kickboxing, regular boxing, judo, all these different ones like karate and stuff.
Mhm.
It builds such a structure of an art form that you're able to choose from that it's so scary because everyone is proficient. You know what I mean? Like everyone that's
Yeah.
good is proficient in multiple areas. I
Yeah. They all have like
I
their
think
own each
that's
like they each hot like they all each have like their own unique skills and abilities, right?
no, definitely. Everyone has their own unique skills and abilities. What I was trying to move further towards is if
Mhm.
you want to be a great MMA fighter and receive tons of accolades and have a fantastic career, you need to be able to practice and train in these other forms, these other disciplines. That's what I'm saying. And so it's like you can have a specialist. This guy is, if he gets that one area neutralized by
Mhm.
someone, kind of lets up for his career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So it's like
see. I see.
you want to be able to work on all these different areas, and actually, it makes me think about like how you can use such competitive expression, whether like MMA, mixed martial arts, or like Smash, in order to improve different areas in your life. So it's
Yeah.
I don't hear enough people talking about this,
Mhm.
and wanted to you know what I mean. I wanted to create some awareness on this as well. And so it's like, for example, I was thinking a lot about when I was like in high school and when I was in college, and I would have like public speaking classes.
Mhm.
Now, you know what I mean? You have to go up to the room in front of the professor, the teacher, in front of all your classmates, in front of the few crushes that you had, and like you had to talk in front of them for like 10 minutes on this essay. It might be like a really boring topic that you don't really want to talk about.
Mhm.
And so I was processing this was, man, if I had the mindset back then of being able to capitalize and structure out a lot easier and a lot more naturally how I was going to go about this, I would ace all my speeches. I was not the best talker back in the day. Like I love to talk,
Mhm.
I still do. I wasn't like, no, I wasn't able to really get my points across. Like I wasn't able to
Dude, that's me.
communicate effectively to people. But in light of, or you know what I mean, in light of bringing up again these other like disciplines and these other like different art forms and having a competitive mindset to improve yourself. I think, for example, like public speaking, you could be standing up there, whatever it is. It's like an assembly or something. You're in front of a podium. You're doing a radio show or a podcast show or something. What my mind goes to now, instead of thinking about all the nervous, idiosyncrasies and the small little intimate details that didn't really matter, is it makes me go to, okay, what are the topics in mind that I want to go over? How am I going to communicate them over to the audience so that not only do they understand,
Mhm.
they understand what kind of topics I'm talking about and how thorough I'm going with them to them rather, and
Mhm.
how I connect them from point to point to point. And it's the same thing in Smash and MMA essentially, because it's like, for example, in MMA, if you're fighting, if you're standing up boxing fighting a guy, and he takes you down, he brings it down to the mat, an expert boxer, but you don't really know too much of what to do on the ground. you're kind of screwed. See what I'm saying? Like the other guy is going to be a lot more knowledgeable in being able to like take you down and submit you, or ground and pound you, or put himself in an advantageous situation where you're kind of struggling to almost get out. And the same thing goes for Smash. For example, it's like I see so many Smash players that are like great at punishing, and they do fantastic when they knock down an opponent, they grab an opponent, or they're put in an edge guard situation and they can just take them out easily. But
Mm-hmm.
what about when that opponent is not approaching? How
Yeah.
do you treat your neutral? Are you just practicing your punish game? Are you just practicing your great, edge guarding games and your zoning game? How can you practice your neutral efficiently, the point where you can be like, you know what, even if this guy's not approaching me, I have different, let's see, tactics, different techniques in order to beat him in, or in order for me to get closer to him and put myself in an advantageous situation where I'm not going to be at such a risk to myself as well. And so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
that that is what I've been seeing a lot from all these big tourneys, these like big rollback tourneys
Mm.
that have been going on. And obviously MMA too, and there are no sports going on, so I'm like I'm going crazy over here. But at least there's UFC and there's MMA.
Yeah.
I don't know what are you a big MMA fan at all?
No, no. I do not watch MMA or boxing or anything at all. I don't watch sports. The only thing I do is just watch YouTube. I'm just on YouTube. I'm just playing Melee, and that's basically all I do. I'm a pretty chill person. I'm not really, watching what's the sports and what's happening with that. So yeah, it's like really foreign. I mean, not really foreign to me, because like I kind of like feel like I have an understanding in a way of MMA just because we play Smash, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
cause we
exactly.
play
Yeah,
Smash, right? Like we kind of know like what are like the just little fundamentals of how to approach, how to defend yourself. But if you were to be in that actual situation with no experience, then you would probably be screwed, right? If I'm like gonna fight, right? If I'm gonna fight against someone,
yeah.
but I know like kind of like the inner game of it, but I have like no idea as to how to actually punch with the right form, with the right body movement and everything like that, then I'm probably screwed.
Um,
Against someone who is actually efficient and
yeah,
actually
and
fighting.
I think you bring up such a good point in that a lot of these different competitive settings allow you to understand where you need to go mentally, where you
Yeah,
need to pay attention to things and process things, how you're viewing them. And so when I was a kid,
yeah.
my first exposure to any kind of like tournament competition
Hmm.
wasn't sports.
It was not
Uh,
sports.
Regular suburban neighborhood, it's usually sports. Most people are usually, that's how they get their doors open to such a world. I played a ton of chess when I was a kid.
I see.
And I would go to different like schools and different chess tournaments. I remember they were always Saturdays. It's like you wake up early on Saturday morning, like 6 or 7.
Hmm.
You attend
Really?
like the school bus, or you have your parent like drop you off at like a school around in the metro, around in the Twin Cities,
Hmm.
and there would be a tournament layout where you would play anywhere from 4 to 5 competitive chess matches.
Yeah.
And these were gauntlet matches, so they were like best of one, and they
Really?
were
Best of
timed. And you
ones?
also like most people brought like a notepad too, so they can notate their moves and like go back like after the tournament was finished. You could go back and replay the game and understand where you went wrong.
Hmm.
So I think such strong exposure to like really really competitive intense situations where when you're playing chess, it's like you don't have a coach. You would be like, what should I do here, what should I do, like in regular organized sports play.
Hmm.
You have to solely depend on what what you've been able to do, where your strengths are, being aware of what your weaknesses are, and knowing how to combat that all the while your opponent is, forcing their game on you, and you are also faced with the pressure of the time down on you too. And so it's like that, you know what I mean? That kind of experience,
Mhm.
and not just like a 1 or 2 time experience. I had years of this competitive chess tournament experience as a kid. So it really, really got me ready to, like, for example, like Smash tournaments, they're playing Smash. If someone is like heckling me, someone's
Mhm.
behind me and they're like talking a bunch and like, talking
Yeah.
trash on me when I'm playing, I really get affected by it
Same with me.
because that's something that was that.
It's the same with me. That's the same with me.
And well, the thing was, I was going to say that I think that strongly comes from my
Experience.
experience, my
Yeah. Yep.
previous experience of
Yep.
going to chess tournaments.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah. I do agree. Wait. So
do you,
how did you place in those tournaments though?
well, yeah, the highest I ever placed in those tournaments were, I think the highest placing I ever got was like fourth,
Oh,
fourth or
okay.
fifth out of like tournaments of 100 plus.
Dang,
Like,
Eric.
for like two to like anywhere from like 2 to 3 times a month. So within the chess tournament season, I remember for at that time it was under the association of SCA, School Chess Association. So
School
they
chess
weren't like,
association.
official rankings. They
Mhm.
were like a school rec league almost, if you will, but it was like
Ah, I see.
statewide.
Oh shoot.
Um, and the season was, I would say, like December through May.
Oh, the
So it was like half the
season.
year. And it was like maybe December through January had like maybe like the first 2 or 3 events.
Mhm.
But then like February, March, April, and May, like the first part of May, were like every 2 to 3 times a month
Wait,
chess tournaments.
did you like train before like entering these or like did you
Oh,
yeah.
good question. So when I was in school during that time, I was a part of 3 different chess programs. So I had, you know what I mean? I had a great exposure, and I not only did I have great exposure, I had great levels of competition.
Dang.
Prove at, to constantly, practice and train at. And so there was regular chess club, which
Mhm.
was a lot of like what people would join if you were just interested in chess.
Just
There was
casual play?
chess mentor. What was that?
So you say chess club is like just like chess casual play?
Yeah, it's really like regular club for like anyone that wants to join. You could be you could be competitive, you could be casual. It doesn't matter. We're all just having a good time.
Mhm.
And chess club met every once a week on like Wednesday or Thursday or something.
Mhm.
There was chess mentors where I would. This was like during middle school, so I would go over to the elementary school like a few blocks away
Mhm.
and teach young kids how to play chess. And there was like a group of us who would do that. And chess mentors. Third one was for like super competitive, serious elite players
Damn.
that were like maybe like the top, like in the top 20, top 30 rank in the school.
So that
I
was
was
you?
ranked number one.
You ranked
My
number one in the
school,
school?
I was ranked number one in my school. In my
Damn.
district, I think I was ranked number one. But
Damn,
it was
yeah.
called Chess Masters. Chess Masters is where like you would have like an extensive 2 hour um, day, or just like whatever, like it's an after school extracurricular activity. And
Mhm.
so it's like you meet after school. And I remember Chess Masters was crazy because we would go over extremely advanced techniques and like top player, like professional player games. We would go through them, analyze what they were doing, and then we would play each other in different situations. You know what I mean? And it was like really, really focused, intense, competitive practicing that allowed us to like really prosper.
Hey, so since you're a chess player, how come you don't stream chess? It's like the biggest thing right now.
Uh,
It's the biggest
hey, I don't
thing.
stream chess because I don't even have stream set up.
Hey, but hey, come on, man. No,
So
but
many people have told me to stream Smash.
that too.
So it's like, and the thing is, to be honest, when I start streaming, I'm for sure going to be streaming.
Mm,
I don't know how soon, I don't know when, But when I start streaming, I'm gonna be for sure streaming chess.
Hey,
Although
do you
it's
want to
kind of
stream?
sucks because it's like I haven't played chess for so long that a lot of the skills that I acquired
Hmm.
deteriorated.
Hey, but it's gonna come back soon when
And
you
so I'm like,
play.
I'm not. Yeah, dude. It's I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. A lot of like top players in Minnesota, we all had like a smash, or we all had like a chess thing going on, which I hope to
Sick.
see again happen. I know Fico's been hitting me up.
Oh yeah, dude.
Um,
Hey, you want to teach
a few
me?
others have.
Hey, you
Be
want to
done
teach
to
me?
teach you, dude. Yeah. Okay, so the thing is, I think a lot of people also they like want to learn and they want to like practice and get better at stuff. But I think the art of teaching someone not only better at learning it, it also makes you think outside the box in like and learn almost teaches you to like learn different ways of learning. Super meta. That's probably like the best way I can put it.
So,
I can't describe it
so
enough.
you're saying that chess kind of helps you think in like different layers or different levels.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so a big thing about chess for me was that when I was teaching chess,
Hmm.
um, that creative part of my brain where I would like, be learning new ways to learn how to play chess and like do different formations and like different openings and different like middle game techniques allowed me to transfer that into my regular everyday consciousness of just logical thinking. And so, for example, if I was to put that into like how I would work, like right now, it's if I'm working, I would I'm on the lookout now for like teaching myself what I just learned, but then also trying to understand,
The overall picture.
an alternative way of how I could
Oh,
do that as well.
oh,
And
okay.
also, yeah, it's super weird, and so I'll bring it to singing, music.
Uh huh.
And so I also love singing, and so for me, learning new ways to think about things can be easily translated into music, like learning to sing in new like keys, new
That's
like
hard.
a key change, like learning how to use my voice in different ways. So I'm not just like
Doing the
singing with like a
same.
head voice or a chest
Yeah.
voice. I'm working on my like vibrato, and I'm like
Yeah.
learning how to like
How to?
almost do this movement with
Yeah.
my throat.
Like,
It's really weird.
yeah. And also
Yeah, it's
like, it,
super weird.
like yeah, dude. For me, like singing is like hard because you have to like convey emotion too. Because like, okay, one person can sing, but like conveying the emotion is like the hard part. Like, how can you do that? Like, some people are like natural at it, but like when I try to do that, it's like really hard.
Down to having that balance between logic and emotion.
Yeah.
So it's like when that it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier when I was a kid and I would play chess. Kids are like heckling at me. You know what I mean? Kids from like other schools are like heckling at me. I'm in this super intense situation where I'm being emotionally influenced by
The
all these
crowd.
other people that are like trying to, what I mean, like force their thoughts on me.
Mhm.
But I have to maintain the balance of staying logical and rational in my gameplay. And
Yeah.
so it for me it translated into a number of different art forms. Singing, for example, it's like whenever I'm singing, I have such like I'm so lost in the emotion of it. I'm
Mhm.
also now cognitive of how it comes out and how I want it to.
Mm.
See what I'm saying? So it's like even if I'm singing and I'm feeling all the emotions of it and I'm really in the moment of it,
Mhm.
it's not necessarily going to come out great if I don't work on that skill of being able to be like, I want I want my notes or whatever note I'm holding out, while I'm singing, I want it to come out like this, but I also want to add some flair to it.
Mm, I
So I'll
see. Your
slur
own. Yeah.
my vocal cords just a teeny bit so that it produces a different sound.
Hey. Do you want to show us a bit?
Not really.
Come
That's for
on.
another time.
Come
That's a
on.
bonus for another.
That's a
Okay, so
bonus.
so for example, it's like So if I was just to do like a regular scale, right?
Okay.
I'd be like do re mi fa
So
so.
so.
So if I'm like singing, so if I'm like singing the so, this is where it comes where it's like if I'm singing, okay, just for example, if I'm singing like so, I'm thinking about like being on that note,
Yeah.
right? That's where my mind's at. My emotion is feeling the vibrations of it. Emotions are like, man, this is a great note to hold and it's fun to
Dang.
hold. I, but I have to think rationally about it. And I'm like, I don't want it to just, personally for me, this is my own style.
Mhm.
I don't want myself to just hold that note. I want it to be like, so,
Whoa,
like, do you
whoa,
see that
calm down.
vibration? It's like you can
Yeah, yeah.
it's so
I see.
weird. It's
Yeah.
super awkward.
No,
I
no,
feel
it's all
awkward
good. No,
myself,
no,
but
it's all good, dude. It's all good. It's all good.
yeah, but it's being able to balance that logic along with that emotion.
Mm. Dude, that's hard. Like, for me, I'm always like,
It really is.
dude, it is hard because like whenever I sing, like, I mean, like I probably said this earlier, but like I can sing. I guess, I mean, that's what I think. I feel like I can sing, but I can't like convey the emotion. Like that's like the super hardest part. Like, or just like not even conveying, but like feeling the music, feeling the lyrics, just like that in general. That I think like super hard. That's super hard. But like, okay, speaking of singing, what?
Yeah, I was going to ask you quickly. What about it is? What about the emotion? Is it hard for you? So I'm trying to nail down.
I, no, okay.
Hard for you to like display like the outward emotions on your face. Is it hard to like translate it into how you want to sing? I'm
No,
not.
no,
You know
no.
what I mean?
Okay, I
I
think
don't know what you mean by.
I think for me it's just let me see. Okay, I had this idea in my mind. I had it. Okay, so what was your question again? Your question was what's okay. I have it now. I have it now. I think it's just experience, right? So like most songs, like most Mexican songs are about love, right? And like it's kind of like passion, like they have emotion. They have so much emotion behind it, but like I think it's like the experience behind it that I don't have, and it's just hard to it's kind of hard to just like sing, about love when you can't, don't really have much experience about it. But well, okay, like there's other songs about, like I guess overcoming an obstacle, advancing in life, trying to move forward in life. That's like something different. And I feel like I can convey that one much better because that's my mission in life right now, and I can relate to that way more. And like there's other songs about like you know how in rap music or hip hop there's music that's like talking about the streets and everything like that. And like talking about life and like the hardships of it, and I can definitely relate to that much more, and I feel like I can sing that much better. Like I can convey that emotion much better because I have those type of experiences too in my family. You know how like we have you know we have people in my family who came here to the U.S. to seek for a better life, and you relate to that much better, and it's easier to sing, I guess. Yeah. How about you?
You know, I from hearing what you just said to me right then,
Yeah.
and now thinking about your prior like the way you feel about how you're not experienced or you're not as
Relatable.
accustomed to seeing with emotions, but you're more accustomed to seeing like what you've personally experienced.
Mhm.
I would say start with that. Everyone needs to you know when you're trying to learn something new, it's incredibly tough. Humble yourself. For example, let's say I'm like, I'm learning how to sing, and I learn how to do all the scales, and I have like a teacher that she tells me I'm good at singing, and I
Mhm.
sing all these songs that I think I can hit, and I sing for people that they think I sound good.
Mhm.
It's a very, very humbling experience for you to be like, you know what? There's more work that I need to do. On top of it, do I feel my preferences? So what you just told to me, you were like, I don't feel like I'm as experienced in this. I have like a preference to like
Yeah.
talking about the streets or like doing this and that. I would say for you, in order to get into that and improve yourself in the area, is start with what you feel comfortable with, where your preference lies,
Mhm.
and then work on the fundamentals of it slowly but surely. When you build that over time, then you'll be able to outwardly express those emotions that you struggled with earlier,
Mm-hmm.
because now you have the logical fundamentals in order to even do what you want to do.
I see.
What I'm saying?
Like I feel like that'd be like a little hard though. Like I don't
It
know.
is hard. It is so
It's really hard.
let me relate it to Smash.
Mm.
So you watch someone play Smash. Let's say, for example, you have great fundamental skill like short hopping, L canceling, wave dashing, and you wanna be able to move fast like this other person or like this top player where
Mm-hmm.
they're like edge canceling and they're doing all these other things. You're not going to be able to do all those things until you bring all these other small little fundamentals
Mm-hmm.
to the stage, to your own repertoire, your own skill arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can't also play like how you want to play until you incorporate
Everything.
on your own play style
Yeah. Yeah.
into
Okay.
it.
So yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's like
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
you,
okay.
you bring the fundamentals in. The fundamentals and just the basic understanding of the game is the logic part. Emotions are what you want to bring in, or what you feel like you should do in this particular situation, or what you feel like is your personality, your characteristics, and what you feel like in that very particular moment in time. So the thing is, you see where I'm already going with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of the read based player, the read based player versus the technical player. The
Mm-hmm.
read-based player does what they want. They think and
Yeah. That's
they
true.
act according to how their emotions are. The technical player acts and does what they do based on what they know works.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the ABCs. It's the fundamentals. The read-based player, I kind of think you're going to be like doing this. I kind of know you're going to be doing the most optimal thing here, so I'm going to throw you off.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Almost like the old school East Coast player versus the West Coast player. That's the logic versus the emotion.
Wait. So what do you think
That's
my
probably the simplest way I can break it down.
so what do you think my
Any like art.
what do you think my playstyle is then? If you yeah, if you were to break it down.
Um, your
Like what?
Smash playstyle.
No, but no, like okay, so yeah, like what is my playstyle in Smash? But like like translating it to singing, because you were saying
Oh, okay, so yeah, so this I don't know too much about your singing, but I do know your personality.
okay.
Always said that Smash in particular is an art form that whenever you do it,
Mhm.
not just you generally, anyone, whenever someone plays Smash, because the game is so flexible and complex that your personality, your characteristics will bleed through your character on the screen.
Really?
You can't hide who you are when you're playing Smash. And so, just to first off, I'll get to it. By the way, I know it's
Mm.
a little bit
No, no,
confusing.
it's all good.
Bear with me. But so, for example, your playstyle is a very, very strategic, oppressive read style.
Okay.
The thing is, your strategies and your oppression is based around what works. For example, you're going to laser the person.
Mhm.
You're going to not only throw lasers at the person, but when you throw lasers at the person, you're going to approach or run away. You're going
Yeah.
to use these lasers, the logical standpoint of the laser game, in
Mhm.
order to do what you want. But at the same time, you build off of it by mixing up, like, oh, for example, I'm going to laser you here, and then I'm going to grab you, and I'm going to up throw you because you're still thinking about getting hit from that laser, that grab. I'm
Mhm.
going to up throw you, and then I'm going to like hit you with a wonky aerial,
Mhm.
or I'm gonna down throw you, and because you just got hit with that laser or that grab, and you weren't expecting that much, you know what I mean, right then and there,
Mhm.
you're gonna down throw, and you're gonna like react to their DI and then shine.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that
Mhm.
what is
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Just to
Yeah.
so to confirm, yeah, okay. So confirming that, how I see that translates into a personality is you want to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But what you're gonna do to get there are like things like you're gonna want, like, for me personally, how you got good in Smash
Mhm.
is exactly how you're going to get good in any part of your life.
Mhm.
And so that's going to be learning the fundamentals at first,
Yeah.
then bending those fundamentals to your will in order to get what you want. And this is a little bit vague. It kind of goes towards everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
also want to make sure that everyone is able to relate to this, and so they are able to better and improve themselves in different areas in their life.
mm. Yeah, I feel
And
like it's
so,
like
to
such like a complex like a complex like thing, right? Like translate like for you I can't like really like I don't know. I can't really describe Falcon like the way you play Falcon with you. Like in a way, I guess in a way, it kind of I don't know. Like you have like these moments where you do like these weird options, and like I guess in real life you do weird options too. I don't know. You're just funny in general. Like overall, like you're just weird and funny in general. I don't know how to describe.
I
You're just
noticed,
Ergo. You're just Ergo. You're Eric. You're just Eric.
I noticed, I noticed the way I play is similar to how I sing too. It's just I
Really?
kind of do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a way of like saying the most optimal or not saying the most optimal. I'm always trying to be optimal. I need to feel comfortable with what I'm doing. If I don't feel comfortable with what I'm doing, it doesn't necessarily hurt me, but it's not my forte.
Mhm.
And at times, so weirdly enough, in Smash, there are going to be times where it's like when I'm in my most uncomfortable situation, that's actually when I shine the best as well. Because it's, for me, it's always been about doing what I need to do in order to be me. And because that's such a subjective statement,
Mhm.
it can be just to react. It can be just to logically do something that most other people do in this situation. It's very, very hard to to find the exact variable because it's such a volatile variable
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah. I mean, can you
So
explain
it's
a
like, I
little?
mean, I still, I still do my fundamentals like up
Yeah.
your knee,
Yeah, you do.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's like
because everyone has like their own like fundamentals, like what they, like what their go-to options are. But there's always like something like deeper than that too, right?
yeah, yeah. That deeper is what I was really talking about earlier when I meant preference.
Mhm.
It's like you kind of have to. It's a part of willing to accept and embrace who you are, but not only to embrace who you are, but try to prove it well.
Try what? Try something new as well.
So so you have to accept and embrace who you are
Huh.
and what you're about and what you're into,
Mhm.
but you have to also that's the I think that's the emotional side of it, but the logical standpoint is to try and improve it
Oh,
and
improve it. Okay,
optimize
okay, improve
what
it.
you're about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's 100% of what I'm agreeing
Um,
with. Hey, but going back to like how well how like you were talking about experience with the crowd and everything like that, how it doesn't affect you. I've had like my fair share too, cause
no,
my first taste in a competitive setting is actually in soccer, right? So I used to be like in
hey,
soccer leagues and everything like that, and
mhm,
before that, I was always playing soccer in elementary school, middle school, and not to toot my horn or anything, but people would they would always say I was the best. They would always say I was the best every single time. So
you're the best.
I mean that's what everyone always said. So I mean I would always be the one who would score like the most goals, I guess. And
Oh,
so after that, right? I would eventually move on to an actual, soccer league, right? And my first time entering that soccer league, guess what we did? We won the championship. Exactly.
wow.
No, but like, okay, so I'm used to like, people heckling in the back because there was always a huge crowd every time we played soccer, right? There was always, these families, these grown-ups, kids, everyone screaming, yelling, and you kind of just like used to that, and that's something that I love. So whenever like I'm playing a match in Melee and there's a crowd behind me, it's something that I always love because like, people are watching my match and something cool is happening. It could either be
Yeah.
something cool, it could be an upset, like it could be positive or negative. I just love that setting. A crowd behind me cheering, people like swearing at me, people swearing at the other person. I don't know. I just love that. It's my favorite thing.
To be honest with you, so I was watching the rollback tourney yesterday, and I didn't really watch too much, but when I tuned in, I tried.
Yeah,
I tuned into the stream
yeah,
yesterday, and that was a quick 3-0.
yeah.
I tuned in at the wrong time.
No, it's all
But like
good.
you said, regardless of whether or not it's positive or negative, I could tell you were not happy with yourself. You were frustrated,
I
and
was
you
not.
ended the stream right away. I
Yeah.
think it's but the thing is, I think it's good that you did that because again, you're gonna be in a situation where you're gonna be like, I need to talk to people. You felt all the emotions right then,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're not bottling it up as well, which is even worse.
Mm,
And so the thing is, from the looks of how I saw it, you were just like, oh man, I'm done, guys. That's pretty much it. I'm calling it a night.
yeah.
Peace. And I was like, hey, that's a fantastic thing to do sometimes. Sometimes you just need to, you know what I
Just
mean,
show, just
break
shut,
away.
yeah, just shut off. And yeah, it's something that I just need to do. And like after I finish, with the stream and everything, I just uh, so I have like this like highlight video that I'm trying to work on and trying to put up on my YouTube channel, and I started editing, just to get that, just to relax a little bit, focus on something else. No, yeah, gotta remove the negativity in your life and move on with your day, and because you have another chance in life, right? Like, because I have another chance, to
So
play against multiple people in like the coming weeks. So, yeah, I'm just.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a teeny bit disappointed, but at the
No,
same
it's
time,
all
it's
good.
it's also we're online, so it's
Yeah.
like when I was looking at it, I'm like, for me personally, I was like, oh, I can't wait till I get rollback. I cannot wait till I get Slippy so I can join these tournaments and just.
Mhm. Dude, no, okay.
Oh man,
Yeah, it was okay, hey, so I do have
that's
my
the competitor
Johns.
side of me.
Hey, so I do have my Johns or my excuses, right? My excuses were that people were taking way too long to play their matches. It was 12 a.m. and my mom had to wake up at like five in the morning. She was getting mad at me because I was playing Melee and the controller was, making noise, so I had to like be quiet, you know? It sucks. So I was just really mad because yeah, I was just really mad. The whole entire thing because my mom, it sucks because like for us, everyone's working, right? Everyone's working. I'm working at like, from 9 to like 5:30. My mom works at like 5 a.m. to like 2. Everyone's working. Like my brother, everyone's working in the house. So like, this kind of sucks. Everyone needs a rest, but I understand. Yeah.
Hey, well, I mean, I think if you were struggling with the time matchmaking, you should tell whoever was hosting it, like you give them a heads up about it. I don't know how much they can help, but at the same time, like even though you were waiting for your matches a really long time, what were you doing in between that
I
on
was
your downtime? Like,
on my,
what were you,
on my
you
downtime.
know?
I was just on Twitter looking at cringy memes. Just watching cringy memes and just cringing. Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Do you think that might have played a role, or do you think that might have influenced how you played?
Yes, because after watching the memes, I got to play against ATM, and I was playing really really bad, and he took a game off me, so I was kind of disappointed.
I'm not gonna lie, I tuned into this. Okay, so after your stream ended, I went back and watched like just a couple of your matches
Yeah.
to see the entirety of the Lexer match and the ATM match.
Mm,
I was disappointed, very disappointed with how you were playing against
I know.
ATM.
Yeah, I was play.
It's
Yeah, I
like
was playing really really
this is
bad.
this is this is nowhere. This is like D game Isaac.
Yeah, it
This is
was.
nowhere near. Like I was mad too because I was like, man, I play Falcon with this guy, and if he lets like
Yeah.
him down like this, it's like it's gonna make me look bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like so mad because I could not get anything. And like Pierce was just running away, like back and forth. I'm like how is he taking games off me? I'm like, come on, he's just doing the same exact thing. He recovers the same way. He does the same exact like options. Like, come on, how am I losing? And I'm Falco. I have a laser.
So, well, what I was gonna say was, and so it's like if those cringy like videos that you were watching, now you're looking at it from like a logical standpoint of like looking back, and being like, oh man, that might have affected me negatively, which it sounds like it kind of did.
It did.
What do you think you would, change for next time? Like you have to wait a while if you're in the same situation.
Honestly, I probably would do the same thing just cause like the online tournaments aren't really a big deal. It's free. If I lose, it doesn't matter. It's not like it's gonna go towards the PR, nothing like that. So I was just mad because I was just mad because I lost to 3-0. I don't like losing 3-0. I don't know. I was tired too. There was a lot of things going on. I was focusing on too many like outside things like my mom, like just worrying about like her getting mad at me about me waking her up.
Do you think these like things that you were worried about and like on your mind, do you think they would be on your mind again if you were put in that same exact situation?
I mean, it depends if my mom wasn't sleeping or anything like that. I would probably be more focused. Yeah.
Um,
It's all good. It doesn't really matter.
you know, yeah, food for thought. Well, I mean, I think it's you're absolutely right in that it doesn't matter too much, but what does matter is how you're influenced by it. What
Yeah.
does matter is how it can take from your overall experience of it. I think that's actually something that a lot of people, I would say, or I've observed. I might be completely wrong, but I've observed that a lot of people like don't give the respect to these smaller influences
Mhm.
that could affect them in the same way.
Mm.
So it's like, if I was in your position, I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to tell you what to do.
No, yeah,
Like
yeah.
if I was in your position and it took me a while to like find a match, I
Mhm.
would probably either be like practicing or I would be watching someone play.
Yeah, but I mean, for me,
Or,
like,
or, or just doing something related to Smash so that my mind is like awake and actively thinking about,
no, I think for me,
because it's like,
wait, keep going.
was that?
No, keep going. You can keep going.
Oh, no, you're good. You're
All right.
good. You're
Oh yeah.
good. I finished my point.
I was gonna say like to me, Smash isn't really as important as back then. I'm not like
Mm,
it's not. I'm not passionate. Like before. It's kind of like becoming old to me. And like another thing that like is kind of gets to me, and something I don't really like is that people tell me to come back to tournaments and everything like that. I keep saying this is that people tell me to come back to tournaments, but then when I come back and they beat me, they say it's like, oh my god, I beat Isaac, oh my god, like they say that. I'm like, dude, come on, man, I haven't played in like a while. Like the only reason I feel like the only reason they want me to be back is just so they could beat me and say like, just say they beat me, and I'm like, dude, come on, stop.
I hate to be that guy, and I don't condone that behavior at all, but I think that kind of goes without saying in a competitive setting.
Wait, what?
I think that kind of goes without saying in a competitive setting. For example, it's like, if I was gone and like I came back and like a bunch of people that were beating me, yeah, it would suck, but I wouldn't be too like caught up on the, oh man, you guys just wanted to beat me out and be like, man, that was great that like you've gotten
I
better.
I guess that is true.
And
Yeah,
like
yeah. I should
I
have said.
would I would love to I would love to play you more next time, and I'm gonna beat you next time, or I'm gonna give you a much better fight than I gave you this time
Yeah,
around.
that
And
is true. Yeah, it's
to be honest with you, that's where my mind goes, and so it's like it's hard for me. It's not hard for me because I can understand it, but it's hard for me to like bring my mind there because it's exactly what you just said earlier. It's having to deal with that negative stuff and being like letting it go, not holding on to it, not burying it and bottling it, not trying to use it as a weapon towards other people, or not just even rejecting it. You kind of have to take it for what it is and be like, that's cool, man. Like you beat me, like that's great.
wait. Okay,
And
so
and like I said, next time I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna lay the smackdown on you, you know?
Yeah. Oh, no, but wait. Do you think it's like? Do you think you say that because we're like in different positions? We have different perspectives. Because like okay like, because I'm more used to I guess I'm considered a top player, right? And
Yeah.
you're kind of expected to have like this result on you. Like you're expected to like be better than all these people, and like like once they beat you, you kind of like I don't know. You just feel bad. Like you just kind of feel like
So that
I don't know. You just kind of feel like you just
that is
don't have that passion anymore.
that that's okay. So the thing is, for me, I equate that to ego.
Yeah, dude. Honestly,
Ego is a
yeah,
very
yeah. I
ego is
do
a
agree because I
very
have
very.
I do have a pretty big ego. Cause
It's
like
good that you're saying that, and you're you're open with that. But what you
cause
need
I
to
always
do,
recognize that. I always recognize it because throughout my life, everyone that says I have a big ego, and I do agree. I do agree because like whenever I get good at something, I just have an ego for it. How with soccer, I always brag about like I was like good, I was good, and like I just kind of get sad if I people talk about soccer. I'm like, oh man, like like if I were to keep playing soccer, I'd be like a really really good soccer player like now, because that was like my biggest passion
yeah,
back then. That was my biggest passion back then. And once I like there was like this injury that happened to me that kind of like in a way forced me to stop playing soccer. And also like because we didn't have
I
time.
don't know.
And also because we didn't have time in my house, for like my parents to take me to soccer games and everything like that. It just kind of faded away, and it sucked because that was like my biggest thing. But yeah, you keep going. Sorry about that.
Oh, what I was going to say was ego is a very very complex thing to work with. It's the crazy thing about ego is it leads you to success, but it also leads you to failure.
It
It's like
does.
it's dependent on how you take it in.
How to use it.
For example, like what two things you were just talking about, like your history in soccer.
Mm.
Like the ego is the type of thing that will make you think about the what if.
Yeah. What
What
if?
if I had not done it? And the what ifs also is like, oh yeah, my potential. If I had kept playing soccer, I could have like gone to La Liga. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? Like
Exactly.
I could be like, I could be so good. I could be in the MLS making so much money, and
Yeah.
people would like love me even more. The thing is, ego is not probability wise as realistic. That's what ego does. So, for example, to bring it back to how you said earlier, like, man, sometimes I feel like because obviously I'm a higher ranked player, I'm expected to beat these people.
That's
If I lose, and then you if you lose, you're going to get consumed by so many negative
yeah. Yeah.
influences from that because that ego makes your mind go to, oh man, what if I just done this? Oh man, he's
Yeah.
so lucky
Yeah.
I missed this. He's so lucky that I like my tech skill wasn't right. Man, if
Mm-hmm.
we had played like 30 minutes earlier, I could have done way better.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
your ego creates all these different excuses, all these different scenarios where you could have performed better. But if you take ego aside away from that particular situation and you take it for what it is, you're like, man, to be honest with you, I wasn't fully as intact. I'm not trying to make excuses. I want to be rational with who I am and where I was at in that particular situation. That's to you, Lex, or like, you did whatever. I'm not as happy as I could be. I'm going to obviously work harder next time. What are some things that I can do different or next time if the same situation arises? So ego will also allow you to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
The ego can be used as food
Good.
and fuel to improve yourself. It can also
Bring you
fuel
down.
the negativity, the fire.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
true.
you kind of have to know what to do with ego. Ego is a very complex
It
thing because it's
is.
with ego, there's such a thin line between an amazing positive outcome and a destructive negative, happening. There's such a the thin line between it within ego.
It's more about balancing your ego, right, and how to use it.
One big thing that I I use to deal with ego. I'm not the best at it. I don't think I'm even really good at it, but
Mm,
it's been working good for me. It's been working for me is that I balance again the emotion and the logical. Like my
mhm,
emotional thing is like the ego.
mhm,
My logical thing is like, well, what really happened? I have to be honest with myself. What really happened? If I was in your situation, was I as focused? No. Was I as warmed up? No. Was I thinking about cringe things in my head because of watching those videos? Yes. Was their connection maybe bad? Yeah. But I'm not going to blame it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to blame it on that. I'm just going to take it as it is.
mhm. Yeah.
See what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Take it as an
So it's like,
L.
okay,
I lost. Take
so,
it as an
so
L.
yeah, so it's like now that I've seen this as an experience and I've gone through this, what can I do in my power to improve next time?
Mm, yeah, that's true. But I
And to
mean,
be honest, yeah, I think it's like if everyone looked at it from this standpoint, I think if you had looked at it from the standpoint, obviously, you wouldn't have been so like worn out by the end of the set.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, there's just a lot of things in my mind, and I was just my ego was playing a part. Was playing into it too. A lot of things were playing a part into it. Yeah, I think it's more so just like me having to be humbled again. Like if I were to lose more and more at tournaments, then I'd probably get the fire again.
And to be honest with you, man, I feel like I've just never had the ego problems before, but like never to like quite the extreme where a lot of people will end up quitting or getting mad. It's like I just don't know how many people are from like when I started in the
Hmm.
Minnesota Smash scene and like they're still playing.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
Not, like not that many. I mean, obviously there are people that even longer, like Amanzi and Deepak,
Yeah, they're always
legends.
yeah
You know,
legends.
legends. But like the people from our time, it's like you, me,
Slayer.
know,
I don't know about Slayer. Or Slayer like
Slayer's way long. Slayer's longer. Slayer's way
so
longer.
he's like Deepak
Dairy
era.
is no. Deepak has been playing so much longer. Deepak and
Dang.
Slayer have been playing longer than us for sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like Vector and Dairy, they're kind of sad cases when I think about it because my ego is telling me that like, oh man, they could have been so great. But
Hmm.
what really happened? Dairy, you know what I mean? Like Dairy had a hard time Gary had a hard time confronting that people were not fans of his. I think, because of like maybe such like
Oh
harsh
yeah.
stuff too.
Another thing
He
is that
didn't put that.
but if okay, he also had ego issues too.
Okay, so there you go. It's like he probably also had ego issues. Ryan is a lot more of a sad story because Ryan's hands just kind of give out on him.
Yeah, that's what sucks. I think he's like,
Uh,
you think he's like, do you think like, if, like, I guess the way you play or the way you hold the controller is a factor? Or like, I don't know, like, cause he was like super technical, right? He was super technical. Do you think it's that? He was
uh,
just pushing way too many buttons, just like,
I think it might have also been the way he was holding it, or like I think we've talked about this before, but
yeah,
I think it comes down to hand size, how
and
you're holding the
yeah, you're holding
controller,
it.
how not only how you're holding the controller, but how your fingers flick and how you
Yeah,
apply
yeah, yeah,
pressure
yeah,
onto each
yeah.
button.
Mm,
But like that's actually very technical when people think about it.
yeah, it is.
And just the thing is, people don't think about it.
Mm.
You know,
Wait, so you're talking about
but
Veclor, Dairy, and who else?
yeah, there's like Beckler, Derry, Charlie, absent pages from our time,
Yeah, Charlie is. Yeah.
and he's obviously doing. He obviously did wonders. He's kind of coming up from a slump right now of that band. Who are other people? Like, it's hard to, you know what I mean? It's like, it's even hard to talk about. I think so many people that were from our time aren't playing anymore.
Yeah, a lot of them.
That was only 6 years
Like,
ago.
let's see, there was see those three players. There's a lot. PD. I mean, PD is kind of old school, right?
He's a little bit more old school, and he's also from a different game too.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know what I mean? He's a
Like he's so good
special
though.
story on that one.
He's actually really really good.
He's great. Yeah, he's fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like still amazing. I
Yeah,
have not seen him in
exactly.
quite a while.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about trying to go to like the bar together, but like that was maybe a year ago, and so
Oh
I just haven't
yeah,
talked with Carl since.
yeah. There's more players like Rat, TD.
Red was around a little bit before us as well. TD
Yeah,
also again around a little bit before us. But
Spencer.
they definitely
Spencer.
well. I think Red kind of still plays.
Remember Spencer?
Spencer, yeah, Spencer was around from our time, but then he kind of goes MIA from time to time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not really
You
sure
know?
why. Is it like school or life stuff or?
Probably life stuff.
Yeah, he's so
Um,
good. He's so good.
Fantastic. I think I think to be honest, I wanted to go back to ego. You know,
Mm.
and ego is such a tool that like people able to utilize, but also like embrace in the wrong ways, like the worst ways.
Yeah.
So it's like ego can drive it, and ego can kill you. You
Yeah,
know.
I think it's killing me right now. It's probably killing me.
Hey, again, like I said, the first thing is if you believe it's killing you and you are paying attention to how it's killing you, that's great
Mm.
here because the thing is it's you have to be able to establish, identify, and create awareness for yourself
Mm.
first before you can even treat the problem, before you can even come up with a potential solution to try to help you with it.
Yeah.
That's all good news, you know? And you can't be impatient with it either. I think for me, my ego hurt me the most throughout my Smash career is how I wanted to play.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like for me, I always was like, man, I'm only gonna be going forward. I'm only gonna be going at people. I'm not about this lane player, status. I'm not gonna camp you out, and I'm not gonna do this or that. And that's where my ego hurt me the most because if I had just chose to play how I play now, like I think I'm kind of like a lane player, and I think I'm kind of like a cool player simultaneously at times.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it took me so long to let go of that ego stubbornness of, oh, I'm not going to be lame. That like it took away from how I could have, like how quickly I could have progressed.
Yeah, yeah. I
It
agree.
actually took away from my potential. My ego of thinking about the potential of how cool I could become and how cool I could stick to it actually took away from the potential I actually did have as a Smash player. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. Wait, so was like was the phrase ERPR like something that like drove your ego higher or like what? Because I remember that phrase ERPR.
Yeah, a little bit, but the ERPR phrase, I made it because it was more of like a motivational guide for me.
Okay.
Because I remember like there were like 2 or 3 years where I was fighting so hard to get onto the PR.
Mm.
So ERPR came from that. ERPR came from my hunger, motivation, my drive to get there, to get to the next level. But that was stunted, by my stubbornness as a player to just be like, you know what, sometimes I need to leave. Sometimes I don't need to be as stupidly aggressive here. Sometimes it's okay to sit back,
Yeah.
and what I need to do to win.
Mm. Yeah, I do
It took me
agree.
a hard, it took me a long time to come to terms with that.
Mm.
I don't want like it's like whenever I see people that have ego issues or like stubborn issues, definitely want to talk with that person about it and just share. I see the thing is it's weird because it's like also you don't want to shove your opinions and your experiences down someone else's throat.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
I just want to like be able to be a voice of awareness for
Mm.
just a voice of awareness. I'm not trying to plaster my opinions
Yeah,
on you.
yeah.
I
Nah.
want to make sure that like this is what happened to me and I don't want the same thing to happen.
Yeah, it's all about just having so it's all about us having to prove ourselves in the end.
Yeah, well, it's also about moving the community forward.
Yeah, that is
Having
true.
the community grow and I think if a little like I think if more people were supporting of how people could get better
Mm-hmm.
mentally as well as emotionally, we would be even closer to like that threshold of being perfect in a game where you can't be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
and that's what I hope for. That's what I not only do I want to see that in the game or the community, I want to see that in humanity. Like we're losing at humanity right now
We are.
because of all the stubborn different ideals. And it's like, of course, we're entitled to our different ideals again. So it's like I don't want to plaster my own ideal down someone else's ideal, but it's like I don't know the answer, and all I know is that like I wish we would be able to be that voice of awareness and help each other.
Hmm.
So
Hey, so should we end? Should we cut it out from there?
I think I think we had a great podcast.
Hey, hey, hey,
I'm actually very happy that we didn't.
hey. So I have like one like really quick question though.
Yeah,
Hey, so we earlier we were talking about music, right? Who are your current favorite artists or your favorite songs right now? You can ask either one of them. Doesn't really matter.
like I said earlier, I'm trying to catch up on like my music that I missed out on from like the '60s to the '80s.
Oh
Right now, I'm
shit.
listening to Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, uh, the Eagles.
Okay.
I'm like just getting into them. Fleetwood Mac. I'm just like getting into them. And some people will be like, "Wow, you've like never heard? They're like classics. They're like legends." And yeah, I didn't have that upbringing.
Mm. Wait, so it's
Like I wasn't listening to Led Zeppelin at my house.
wait, so is that the reason oh yeah, so what is the reason like that you're going back to 60s, 70s, 80s? Is that the reason why? Because you just want to see what the music was like back then?
Yeah, oh yeah. I
Yeah.
wanna be able to, it's new music for me. It's new territory for me. So it's like I want to see how it can influence my music. I want to see how it can influence my train of thought, my ideals, my values.
Mhm.
Like, and from my initial, but like my reaction from listening to that type of music from like the '60s to the '80s is, oh, their music is like so experimental. I
Back
don't see
then?
that kind of, yeah, I don't see that kind of like, well, I guess it's also the type of music I'm listening to. It's like the bands I just named were some of like the most experimental bands of all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin,
Mhm.
they were on drugs.
Yeah, they were. If you think about it, like music, like if you compare music to like through like different eras, they all have like their each like different outlook on life, right?
They really
It's just
do.
crazy. Like, okay, so what would you consider like I guess the outlook, I guess like of Americans in music today? Like, how does the American music convey about how we perceive the world today? In your own opinion,
It's just so much.
there
It's
is.
I would say the
Because
American,
because like
the
hip hop
usual American is like,
because hip hop is like the biggest thing right now, right?
yeah, what I was gonna say was it's I had to go by like genre. So like for
Okay.
example, if we're talking about like hip hop and pop,
Mhm.
that's usually the biggest thing right now
Yeah, it
for
is.
American music. And what that music is usually about is like having a good time,
Exactly.
feeling, um, being the best person you can be, and enjoying the moment, which is like all fantastic things,
It is.
but they shouldn't be abused. And that's like the problem right now is that like a lot of that is being abused. And a lot of that has been taken to like political terms too.
Mhm.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like people are affected by that. I don't think it's necessarily like all bad, but there is some bad, and obviously there is some
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Wait, so
What do
okay,
you think though? What do you think about the like the hip hop,
the hip hop,
culture
yeah,
and industry right now?
yeah, it's more so about having a good time with people, like just parties and things like that. Cause that's all that's like yeah, like getting high, overall having a good time, right? That's what I yeah, it's like something that I usually hear like in music. Just like it's all about the beat, right? The beat is what kind of makes it good. And so not the lyrics. It's more so about the beat. I feel nowadays. And not gonna lie,
Yeah,
the beat does kind of like it kind of catches your ear first. Like that's what kind of like drags me in, and like I don't know, it just kind of like the beat or just like the music in
yeah.
general just just kind of like brings you like positive emotions. You just want to have a good time.
I think that's the best part
Yeah, it
about
is.
a lot of American like pop music is that like it does generate a positive feeling, which is great.
Yeah.
That's like the best thing that I could say about American pop music.
Wait, so how about back then though? Since like you're going back, like what like so what do you notice about the music back then and how they perceive the world compared
Okay,
to today?
so 60s,
Okay.
the 60s I feel like was like a super I think there was so much happening in the 60s, like politically and
Yeah, there was a lot of things
you know,
like wait, so
there
so
there was
so wasn't like
that
The Kent State thing like in the 60s? Like just
I'm not completely sure, but to answer your question that you asked, on the 60 for the 60s, it was like there were crazy amount of things happening
yeah.
that like a lot of people were paying attention to like having a chill time. Like
Hmm.
I think that comes a lot from the hippie culture of
Yeah,
like being
hippies.
able to like enjoy yourself. The 70s was like for me, for at least what I heard was like the 70s was like the most experimental time for philosophies,
Okay.
different life philosophies. That was the most experimental time. 80s for me seems like it was the most experimental time musically. Like
Musically.
they were really pushing the boundaries of like how to play an instrument or how to incorporate an instrument. 70s for me,
Was
it's more philosophical
hmm
ideals. Um, and
did
so that's how like how I look at the 60s and 70s and 80s. So far, I have a very limited,
hmm.
a very limited like sample size that I'm like, putting this off of and on about it.
Wait, so okay, do you think the 90s is more so about like being crazy because like, like rock was a really big thing, right? Like Nirvana and like I'm not really sure there's
I'm, no, I'm not too sure about the 90s, to be honest. The 90s almost seems like, and obviously it's a relic of the past.
hmm.
Actually, it wasn't even that long ago,
It was not
like
that long
two
ago.
decades ago. But like
Yeah.
for me, the 90s was like almost like a culmination of everything.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. The 90s was nuts because it was a culmination of everything, and then the 2000s was like technology.
Technology.
That's how I feel about it right now.
Yeah.
Again, I've been listening to more music from the 60s and 80s, so it's like I've been with listening to like music from one particular decade. You're going to get a lot more of the constant recurring feel of what that decade was like. It's like I can't. I mean, I'll listen to songs from the 90s and 2000s here and there, but I'm
Hmm.
not getting that full effect of like that recurring,
Yeah.
theme and the elements and the feel and the emotions and what people were going through.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to answer right now.
Okay. Hey, so with that being said, you want to cut it out now?
I think we covered a lot of stuff. I was going to say earlier that I'm actually really happy that we didn't have a guest this week,
Hmm.
just because I think it's also so important for us to
Just
just
chill.
chill
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Yep.
Just have a homie talking. It's been
Yeah.
a while since I talked to
I
you,
know,
so I'm
right?
happy
Just
that
yeah.
we're
Us too. All right, man.
able to chill and talk. And
Yep.
I have a few guests
In mind.
on deck
Ooh,
the
okay.
next few coming weeks, so
All right. Wait, so
it'll be good. We're gonna have a good time, Isaac.
all right, guys. All right, that concludes the episode of the Homies Podcast number 6. Just normal episode, just normal episode. I feel like I said that really fast, but you can catch me. You can follow me on Twitter.com/ERSAAC Erzik, and you can follow me on YouTube too. It's down my Twitch bio. Where can they find you, Eric?
You can find my Twitter at twitter.com. It's slash
Ergo Smash. I
Ergo,
think.
Ergo Smash. Yeah, at Ergo Smash. And then that's really all the avenues that I have right now.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys
For
later.
public.
All
Okay.
right.
Isaac.
All right. I'll see you, dude.